Okay, so we're on assignment 7, which is the sheep heart. And this is what your heart is going to look like when you get it out of the bucket. And there's going to be a lot of like extra fat up around here that you're probably going to want to remove so that you can better see the vessels that you're going to have to identify. So this is the ventral side of the heart, and you can tell because the right side of the heart is much smaller than the left side of the heart. Okay, so you're going to get your heart and you're going to make a cut like around here so that it opens up and kind of looks like an alligator. Okay, and we're going to identify the 4 chambers of the heart first. Okay, and so to reveal the right atrium, you're going to want to make another cut around here. We're on the dorsal side of the heart now. And you're going to want to make a cut here and then lift it up. And this chamber here is the right atrium. Okay? And I'm going to put that flat back down and open up the big cut, and we'll see the right ventricle. Okay? And if we go over to the left side of the heart, up here is the left atrium, and then down here is the left ventricle. All right. And now we're going to identify the vessels that you're going to need to know, and I'll kind of go through how the blood runs through the heart. Okay, so blood is going to come into the heart through the superior vena cava, and the superior vena cava is going to enter in the right atrium. So here I have the right atrium, and it's really hard to identify the vessels just by looking at them. So you're going to want to take your probe or your finger if it's small enough and kind of work your way through the chambers to try to identify the vessels that you need to know. Okay, so again, we have the right atrium, and we're going to put our probe in here and kind of find the vessel that it connects it, because that's going to be the superior vena cava. Okay, so that opening in this heart, and all the hearts are probably going to look different, but this one is the superior vena cava. Okay, so from the right atrium, blood's going to flow to the right ventricle, and then from the right ventricle, blood is going to pump through the pulmonary aorta to the lungs. Okay, so this one's kind of tricky. I have it identified on this one because it's kind of hard to stick your probe through. So this is the pulmonary aorta in this heart. So and that's going to go to the lungs, and it's going to originate in the right ventricle. Okay, so where's it at? Right here is the pulmonary aorta. And you can't really tell because it's really down deep in there, but you can see the probe through the right ventricle. Okay, so, and then you don't need to know this, but the blood's going to come back from the lungs through the pulmonary vein, and it's going to enter the left atrium. Okay, and then it's going to come down to the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle, it's going to enter in the arch of aorta and go to the rest of the body. Okay, so sorry, I stuck my probe in the left ventricle, and we're going to go up here, and that right here is the arch of aorta. Okay, now we're just going to identify some of the other structures that you'll need to know. Okay, so again, we're on the ventral side of the heart, and right here, so this is the left side. This little sac looking thing, that is the left auricula. And then if I flip the heart over, so we're on the right side, this sac right here is the right auricula. Okay, I'm going to open the heart again. And sorry, I think I usually do it this way. And we're going to identify the bicuspid valve. So this is the bicuspid valve, and actually it looks better in this heart right here. So this is the left side of the heart, And you can clearly see the bicuspid valve has two cusps to it. One cusp, two cusps. So that's the bicuspid valve, and that separates the left atrium and the left ventricle. And I'm going to go back over here, and we're going to look at the tricuspid valve. So I'm in the right atrium right now. This is the right atrium. The tricuspid valve separates the right atrium from the right ventricle. And so this is all tricuspid valve. And you can see there's 1, 2, 3 cusps. So that's the tricuspid valve. And then papillary muscle, you can find near both of the valves. The papillary muscles are simply these kind of lobes on the heart muscle that connect to the chordae tendineae. Okay, so these little stringy things, they're chordae tendineae, and this little lobe is a papillary muscle. Okay, I'll show you another one. This is another papillary muscle, so they kind of look different, but they both connect to chordae tendineae. And I think the last thing we need to know is the semilunar valve. So there's 2 semilunar valves, and we're only going to identify one that separates, or is in between the left ventricle and the aorta. And so here's the left ventricle again, left ventricle, and then we're going into the aorta, and then this valve right here that separates it, that's one of your semilunar valves, this little flap right here. I think that's everything.